You've probably felt it before. That strange sense of being watched when no one is around. You dismissed it. Everyone does. But what if that feeling wasn't a glitch? What if it was the one moment your instincts got something right? In a universe with 2 trillion galaxies, why haven't we heard from anyone else? No signals, no visitors, just silence. Physicist Enrico Fermi asked this question in 1950, and no one has ever fully answered it. If the universe is this vast, where is everybody? There's one answer that unsettles people more than the rest. It's called the zoo hypothesis. First proposed in 1973 by radio astronomer John Ball, it suggests something you may not want to hear. They're already here, watching, choosing not to interfere. A zoo works because the animals inside don't know they're in one. There's grass, there's water, enough space to feel free, but there's an edge they can't see and a purpose they don't understand. Now look at your own life. One planet, one solar system, in an unremarkable position, in an average galaxy. You've never left it. Everything you know about the universe arrives as light, sometimes millions of years old by the time it reaches you. In almost every measurable way, you are looking at the world from inside an enclosure. Is that just physics? Or is that the point? In 2015, Nobel laureate Frank Wilczek pointed out that our instruments could easily miss intelligence built on principles we don't understand yet. We search for radio waves because that's what we use. A civilization advanced enough to watch us might use something as invisible to us as Wi-Fi would be to a caveman staring at the sky. Absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence. It might just mean we're looking with the wrong eyes. There's a darker version too. In 2018, cosmologist Alexander Berezin proposed that the first civilization to reach real power might expand so completely it silences everything else before it can grow. Under that version, we're not being watched with curiosity. We're being watched the way you'd watch bacteria in a petri dish, allowed to grow for now. Uncomfortable, isn't it? But consider the gentler version, because it explains something else. Billions of phones with cameras exist on Earth right now. Nothing stays hidden anymore. And yet there isn't one universally undeniable piece of evidence of contact. Not one. That silence is strange, unless the thing you're trying to photograph doesn't want to be found, unless it's better at hiding than you are at looking. Zoos have barriers you don't always see. Glass, invisible fencing, sometimes nothing physical at all, just the animal's own belief that the boundary is the whole world. For us, that barrier might not be a wall in the sky. It might just be a limit on how fast we can travel, on what our equipment can detect, on what our minds can even conceive of, because you can't miss what you don't know is possible. Here's the part that makes this idea hard to shake. If the zoo hypothesis is true, it isn't cruelty, it's restraint. Anthropologists have documented again and again what happens when a dominant culture makes first contact with an isolated one. Disease, displacement, collapse. Not always through malice, just through the sheer weight of the difference. Sometimes the most advanced move isn't to conquer, it's to leave something alone, untouched, free to develop on its own timeline. There's a story many people know about the loneliest whale in the world, a whale whose call sits at a frequency no other whale can hear. For decades, that call has gone out and returned nothing. Not because no one is listening, because no one is listening at that frequency. Now imagine that's us. Not silent because we're alone. Silent because we're calling out on a frequency nobody nearby wants to answer. You felt small before, standing under a night sky, far from any city, looking up at more stars than you could count. That feeling isn't irrational. It might be your brain correctly perceiving your place in something larger than you've been allowed to see. Does that make you afraid? Or does it make you curious? If you found proof of it tomorrow, what would you actually do with that knowledge? Would you live differently? Would you finally stop wasting time on things that don't matter? Would you look at your own planet differently, knowing someone, somewhere, might be watching to see if you deserve to leave the enclosure at all? Every zoo has a moment the animals inside never witness. The moment they're ready. The moment the enclosure opens. Not because someone broke the glass, but because they finally earned the door. So the next time you feel like someone might be watching, in the quiet, in the dark, in the space between stars you'll never reach, ask yourself something different than you did before. What if the silence isn't proof we're alone? What if it's proof we're not ready yet?